forecast. Sunny skies and calm today with highs around 98. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 73. High temperatures reach up to 98 tomorrow, lots of sunshine outside. Highs level off around 98 Wednesday under sunny skies. 95 Thursday. I'll be relatives to Laura Lockwood for KYOX.
Hot night.
94.3 FM. The Oz.
Thanks, Laura. Currently 75 degrees in downtown Comanche, headed for that high of 98. Time for Coffee Talk, brought to you by the Comanche Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. Check them out at #Explore Comanche, Texas. As we say good morning, welcome in Cynthia Newton with Hope Counseling. How we doing?
It is Monday.
It is Monday.
Good morning.
All over the place.
All over the place. That's right.
What are we talking about today?
Well, you don't know everything I've talked about in the past. However, because I've been doing this for well over a year now, but
Right.
I've talked a little bit about domestic violence and child abuse and stuff in the past, and I really wanted to talk a little bit about domestic violence and to kind of take a little bit of a different a spin on that today, and
Okay.
how to help somebody who might be experiencing domestic violence.
Sure.
Because sometimes, we may know somebody that might be in that situation, and I'm not saying like me as a mental health professional, I mean like we as in our friends.
Sure.
Or family members that might be in that type of a situation, and we don't know how do we help them. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, because it's important. The people in our circles are going to be the ones that are going to know first and foremost.
Right.
And they're going to be the ones that we may go to when we're in that type of a situation to get help. So I want to talk to you about how do you help that person. First off, leaving an abusive relationship is often very difficult, and most importantly, it's an individual decision that the survivor must decide for themselves. It's not an easy decision at all for most people that are in this type of a situation, and we're gonna get into why. Having a solid support system of trusted people is extremely beneficial. Those that are experiencing abuse are often isolated by their abusers. It is important to know how you can support survivors in finding safety. Here are ways you can support a family or a friend who is experiencing domestic violence within their intimate relationship. The experience of surviving relationship abuse is traumatic, and people in any stage of an abusive relationship should be able to depend on others for support as they process complex emotions and navigate their next steps. You can provide emotional support by first acknowledging that their situation is difficult, scary, and brave of them to regain control from. Don't minimize it. Sometimes we hear people talk about, situations, and we may think, oh, they're probably just exaggerating. And even if you feel like they are, don't minimize it. It's really important to acknowledge, their situation and be supportive in that. Don't judge their decisions and refusing to criticize them or guilt them over a choice that they may make, whether it's to stay or to go.
Yeah.
Remembering that you cannot rescue them, and that decisions about their lives are up to them to make. We all want to be that person that puts on the cape, runs in and saves the day.
Sure.
But you can't do that. They have to decide to leave on your own, because if you rescue them and they're not wanting that, they will go back.
Yep.
They have to be the ones to break that cycle. It's important that you don't speak poorly of the abusive partner. This individual is still with this person for some reason. On some level, they still love them. They still have a relationship with them. So to speak poorly of that person is actually putting a wall up that they're not going to listen to you. Helping them create a safety plan. Continuing to be supportive of them if they do end the relationship and are understandably lonely, upset, or even if they return to their abusive partner, to continue to be supportive. Offering to go with them to any service provider or legal setting for moral support. So that's your emotional support component, and emotional support in itself, like I said, it's not the here I come to save the day.
Just being there.
It's that hand. It's that,
sure.
Here, I'm here with you. Let me walk through this fire with you. Let me not take a back seat, but let me be that support to help you, so that you know that you're not alone.
Right.
Depending on the situation, a survivor may actually be financially dependent on an abusive partner or otherwise lacking access to material resources. One of the most immediate ways you can support someone experiencing relationship abuse is by helping them with their material needs. Often often, I mean, there's people that end up in my office in situations where I need to leave. I know this isn't a healthy situation, but I can't. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I don't have anywhere to go. I can't call my family because I'm not allowed to. I mean, it's on and on and on. So they don't have options. They don't have resources. It's not like, oh, I'm able to go to the bank and get out, $1,000 just to go, hey, let's go find a place to stay tonight or find whatever. No, it's often that I don't have any money. I can pack a bag and that's all I can leave with.
Right.
So help them identify a support network to assist with the physical needs like housing, food, healthcare, and mobility as applicable. Help them by storing important documents or a to-go bag in case of an emergency. That's very important. You want to make sure you get out with a driver's license, identification, birth certificates, everything that you would need, social security cards, in the sense that you have to leave quickly, and make sure that they have that in a bag ready to go. Okay, because they may be in a safe place and you're not going to be thinking when you're in a hurry of, oh, I need to go to the lockbox and get it and get all that stuff out. No, it's good to have that stuff stored in a to-go bag, so to speak.
Kind of a bug-out bag.
That's right, in an emergency. And if that's the only thing you leave with, then at least you have your major documents to leave with. Some people will put some, cash in there, just a certain amount that, okay, if I'm grabbing that bag, then I've got that, stuff that is highly important to get out the door with, medications, things of that nature.
Sure.
Encourage them to participate in activities outside of their relationship with friends and family. Be there to support them in such a capacity. So encouraging them to get outside and find a support network, and build those relationships with other people. Encouraging them to talk to people who can provide further help and guidance, like a hotline or resources in the community or churches, places that they can call to help them that would be respectful and be open to assisting them. If they give you permission, help document instances of domestic violence in their life, including pictures of injuries, exact transcripts of interactions, and notes on a calendar of dates that incidences of abuse occur. This is important, especially if there's going to be any type of charges filed, especially if there's any possibility of retaliation, especially if there's any chance that the children have been injured in any form or fashion, to show that you were trying to be protective, to show this is the steps that I took as the parent. But remember, don't overstep this as a friend. If they don't want you to do that, you have to. Don't. That's not your place.
Right.
Okay. Get permission to do that. Offer to help, but don't push. You may push them away to the point that they may end up staying in a situation that they don't need to be in. Don't post information about them on social media.
Oh, God.
This information could be used to identify them or where they spend time. Often, if people are fleeing, they don't need to be found.
No.
Okay? So if you know where they've gone, or if you know and, you decide to post a picture of, hey, I was with Susie Q today at, I don't even know, at Matt Daddy's, or whatever, know, and you decide to post that is an open door for their abuser to find them.
Sure.
So be careful. Don't, you may not think about it, but be careful about what you post on social media. Help them learn about their formal legal rights through resources like women's law, there's legal aid. There's just lots of resources out there for that. They will provide information on domestic violence laws and procedures. With their permission, again, ensure that others in the buildings where the survivor lives and works are aware of their situation. Include what to do and what not to do during a moment of crisis or confrontation with an abusive partner. Again, you just have to make sure you have permission. You don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, but if they're open to, I don't really want to go tell my boss, or I don't really want to go tell my coworker this, but will you come with me and just help me so they can be aware, hey, if he shows up here, then I'm scared and I don't know what to do, they're living in an apartment building or something, or that their neighbors might be able to know. But if they're not willing to do that, you might encourage them to do that on their own, okay? Encourage them to let those people know that they're around often, that, hey, this is going on. If you see this person come around, that you might want to Step up, call the police, do something to help me, whatever, just to ensure that you've got support. These examples that I'm giving today are by no means comprehensive, but provide an understanding of ways to support a survivor that can help protect their safety. Unfortunately, domestic violence is what at times we call the secret killer. I mean, it's, often you don't really know things that are going on in people's homes because we don't live in glass houses, that's for sure.
Right.
We lived in the boarded up, blacked out, houses. We don't want people to know.
Air conditioner running, have no idea what's going on out there, much less next door.
Yeah, we don't want people to know. It's none of their business. So, it's okay. How do we move forward on this? And, is somebody going to think worse of me because I stayed, or is somebody going to think worse of me because I got myself in this situation? No, you can't go around feeling like that. It's really important to find that one person that you can trust, one person that you can confide in. If you don't feel that's in your social support network, contact a mental health professional. Say, hey, I'm going through something. I need help. There's lots of resources. There's lots of resources in our surrounding counties and the counties that I go to that we serve that can help you. Okay, there's lots of organizations. So please, if you're in this situation and you don't know how to get out, you don't know how to break that cycle, don't hesitate to call our office at Hope Counseling of Texas, 325-356-1105, and we'll be happy to help you through this situation and however we can, and confidential, and keep your confidentiality there. It's real important to remember, if kids are involved, that you are actually putting them in danger as well. Okay,
Sure.
And it's very important to realize that a domestic violence situation in a home with children actually brings to a whole different level domestic violence in itself.
Absolutely.
Because the children are seeing it, they're hearing it. The state can determine that might actually be an abusive situation themselves, and if you stay in that situation and allow the kids to continue to see that, then you are hurting your children just as much as that other person. So it's real important to take that step to protect your children, to get out of it, to get you the help you need to break free from that, so that your children can be in a safe environment as well. And again, anything that we can do to help you at Hope Counseling of Texas, we're here for you. We have offices in Eastland, Comanche, Hamilton, and Dublin. You can find us on Facebook at Hope Counseling of Texas, or again, it's 325-356-1105 is our office number. We're here for you, whatever you need. School's getting back in session. I know that everybody's kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be doing right now? We've got COVID going on. Kind of crazy stuff happening with that, and it just numbers keep going up. Decrease your anxiety, keep a calmness for your kids. Don't let your kids ask questions. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call your principal or your superintendent or a school board member and say, hey, what are you doing to protect my kids? What are you doing to make sure that my kids are safe? What do I need to do as a parent to help my children be safe? Take that responsibility. I'll be the first to tell you, that's what I did 2 weeks ago. I called the superintendent of our school and I said, okay, I don't understand. Explain this to me. Yeah. And she was right there and willing to answer all the questions I had. And it put me at ease as a parent. Sure. So, you've got that going on. You've got all these things happening. I don't want to minimize at all domestic violence, but I also want to realize that parents are just in a world right now that there's a lot of uncertainty, and I want you to know that we're here, whatever we can do to help you navigate that road right now. So,
on that domestic violence note, we've helped many times in the past. The ARC, you mentioned many programs that can help, and they kind of right there with those options things you talked about. They don't know where they're going to go, what they're going to do, and we've always been more than happy to help them out.
Right.
With,
Absolutely.
With their stuff. But
Absolutely.
One of the programs that
that is one, and there's some in Stephenville that have come about, and there's just, there's several programs, and I don't want to, list them all, but
Sure.
I do want to tell you that there are those out there. So if you're not familiar, that we can help you find the help that you need.
All right.
So.
Cynthia Newton with Hope Counseling. Appreciate you coming by.
See you next Monday. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
All right, you too. Oh.